Hello, YouTube. This is Brother Gerald, YouTube philosopher. Forgive me for my voice being a little hoarse this evening, but had a long discussion with a few friends about a few things and got around to discussing relationships, and women and men, and I got an analogy, came up with a pretty good one in the middle of the battle, in the discussion, because the women wanted to throw the men under the bus, and the men, they were able to acknowledge some of the things that they did wrong, but they never could get around to getting those women, to accept the blame that is rightfully theirs to own. But this video is going to be a good video for most people in relationships. And you could take this video or this analogy I'm about to give you, and you can present it as a woman comparing herself to men, or she could use it, or a man could use it in advising good counsel to women. But I think the best way of using it is for men in discussing issues of relationship with women. And here we go. When I was a little boy, I went swimming to public pool in Compton College. They had a public pool, and from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock on Saturdays, they would have swimming, open swimming. You paid 50 cents to get admission, and for the next 4 hours, you could swim and just have a good old time. And so here it is, I was about 7 or 8 years old, and I'm swimming, but I don't know how to swim. So I get around the pool, I'm in there playing and having a good time, and I see all these older people in the deep end of the pool. The water's a little bit bluer, and they're just having a ball all in that blue, deep blue water. And I said, man, I want to get in on this. So I kind of creep around the edge of the pool, and I'm slowly getting in the deeper end, and I notice that my feet are getting harder and harder to touch the ground below the pool. And then it got to a point where I knew I was not going to be able to touch the bottom of the pool without being head over, my head being over with water. I'm looking, my head's going to be below the surface of the water. And so I'm there, and I see everybody having a great old time, but nobody's hanging on to the edge of the pool there. So I decide to go ahead and kind of reach over a little bit and see how it is, not holding on to the edge, and eventually I lose track of the edge of the pool, and I start to flounder in that water. I start to drown. Lucky for me, I was about maybe 3 feet away from the lifeguard tower, and the lifeguard immediately saw that I was in trouble, jumps in the water and gets me and takes me out of the pool and brings me, you okay? And I'm just coughing and gagging, having drank the water. I'm trying to breathe, and I'm coughing and gagging water. And he said, man, you need to learn how to swim. Now, that story, I decided to kind of harness it and compare it to relationships. And in this particular example, I'm like a woman that comes to the black water pool, the black man water pool, and I see that it's a nice pool. It's beautiful. It's fun to be with. It's fun to be around. But, if you get your feet wet, yeah, you'll have some fun. But if you try to go a little deeper, you better have some skills, and you better be equipped with something more than just a like and a passing fancy for the water. Now, the water is how it is, and it doesn't care necessarily that you don't know how to swim. What you have to do is appreciate the fact that if you get in this water and you ain't got yourself together like you should, then you shouldn't get too upset when you find yourself floundering in the water and somebody's going to have to take you out. And when they do, don't get upset if you find yourself being banned from ever coming back, because, if that lifeguard saw me next week and I'm still hanging around that edge, playing around, getting ready to try to go in the deep end again, I think he'd blow the whistle and tell me to get out and pack my stuff and don't come back. So the analogy is delivered, and I'm just telling you, I had a discussion with a lady, and she says, well, I just won't, swim. I just won't get in the water. And I said, well, you're free to do so, but you're going to be one of the funkiest people on this earth, because for you not to get in the water means that you will not get clean. You will not get the enjoyment and the benefit of what the water can do for you. And as a result, your body is going to be deprived of that which really it was designed and built to enjoy. So, so much for a woman trying to out-talk me and run off at the mouth and take my analogy and pervert it to her, to making sense from a woman. But the funny thing is, she couldn't out-talk me on this one. Because I told her, I said, furthermore, you're going to end up getting banned out of the black pool. And you're going to, unbeknownst to the white water pool, you're going to sashay your behind over there. But see, they got signs up here for you. And they want to make sure that nobody comes and tarnishes and poisons this crystal white water. And here you come. No urinating in the pool, please. If you're on your period, please refrain from entering the pool. No dumping, no boo-booing in the pool. And despite all of these things, you're going to go in there with no floaties on your arms, with no flippers on your feet, and having taken no lessons from the experience that you had over in that black pool, and really think that things are going to be better. Water is water, whether it's black water or white water. And, the black water can afford you minerals and things that maybe the white water can't. And so the white water will give you a clean and refreshing dip in its ocean or in its, in its pool. So there's something to gain from the experience of all of these various waters. And so I just hope you black women will grow and understand that you got to learn how to swim. And the best place to learn is to be taught in the environment in which you're going to be operating. So for me, what I did as a young boy was I played around in the shallow area, and I'm watching the people in the deep end making these hand motions and kicking their feet and turning their head and twisting and shouting and all that. And I kind of said, okay, well, I need to figure out how to coordinate these things. And ultimately I did. I was self-taught to swim. And it didn't take too many weeks after going back and forth to that pool where I got enough practice to dog paddle. Eventually my dog paddle got transformed. Slowly but surely it developed into a nice swimmer stroke. And so these are the things that, if you really take heed to the analogy, the best place to learn about the water is to get in there and observe how the water behaves. Observe how the water flows through your fingers, how it rolls down your body and do whatever it does. And so once you get the experience, the water's gonna teach you. It's gonna tell you, if you're careful enough to observe and listen to how this stuff reacts to you as you interact with it. But if you think that you can just hop in this thing like I did as a little kid, no experience, no nothing, and see all of these other people having a good time with this thing, you guys are going to end up floundering. Somebody's going to have to save you, and ultimately you might not be allowed to ever get back in the water to learn how to swim or how to enjoy. So I hope this video gets the woman to think and think clearly, or at least think a little more deeply about these things, because as a man, I've got a lot to share with you so-called educated and learned black women. You guys are so educated, you are fools in your own glory. You glory so much in what you've accomplished that you don't even have the time to think of what you are lacking in your educational development. And so this is the reason why our families are failing, why the majority of you women are single and divorced, and the reason why you're not able to maintain long-term relationships. So with that I depart. Peace to you and all who may hear this message.